Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. Over the last 4 years, I have covered a lot of rock and metal music, and I've been exposed to amazing bands. One of the bands that has stuck with me the most, though, is surprisingly Rage Against the Machine. Surprisingly, because I am a voice nerd and I love singing, but Rage Against the Machine features very little singing. I want to dig more into what has continually drawn me back while I listen to Freedom for the first time. Let's get to it. Wow, that initial riff hits so hard. When I think about what it is that draws me to Rage Against the Machine, I think a lot of it is the groove, just the overall vibe. It is so powerful and on fire. But it isn't like just, I've listened to a lot of screaming too, and obviously I'm really, really excited about harsh vocals and doing research in that area. But this is like a different kind of fire. It's one that continually is lit underneath. Screaming seems to be able to get a huge emotion out and done with, but this seems to sort of stoke the flames. It's the grooves that they hit are, you feel them in your stomach, and it feels like it's like building brimstone up, like you're about to be a dragon. Okay, back to the beginning. That riff is amazing. Ugh. Wow. Solo. I'm a soloist on a solo list. All live, never on a floppy disk. Bottle of Rick. Some rebellion. Drawn up on the thoughts I think. Ooh, I love the way there's this guitar part that's like just kind of strumming some backing chords at first, and then does this little chromatic descent and back up just to add something like a little spice in there, like a little, it adds a sudden extra punch of dissonance. That. So it's like very in the background. It's like that part. That's cool. I'm back to this riff. It's so good. Makes you want to headbang. I loved that bass insert. Holy crap. I was so into that, and I like the way it was highlighted too. One more time. The militant poet in once again. Check it. Set up like the deck of cards. They're sending us to early grades for all the diamonds. They'll use a pair of clubs to beat the spades. With poetry, I paint the pictures that hit. More like the murals that fit. Don't turn away. In front of it. Oh gosh. I think it's so fascinating when you hear Zack de la Rocha's voice here, and you think about how some of this, first of all, a lot of bands know each other, right? I think there was a possibility at one point that Maynard would sing with Rage Against the Machine, and you think about how different that lineup would have been. There's still a seething fury, but I think that the groove that they found with Zack's rapping is so on point. But his rapping has a lot of a lot more stability in the pitch than other rapping I've heard. So a lot of times, right, in speaking, we do this pretty quickly. It's like, right? The pitch of our voice moves around very rapidly. We don't really sustain a pitch. With Zack's rapping here, the pitch is much more sustained, and he's really targeting specific pitch areas. Even when we talk about something like Dire Straits, where we have sort of like sing speech, Zack's pitch is actually more consistent than a lot of sing speech is. It feels like it's really driving something home. Also, his enunciation is so aggressive, but because you have this sort of laid back groove and it's rapping too, it has that slight laid back feel. It's just such an amazing combination of sounds, I think, and grooves. I'm gonna go back a little bit here. We'll talk about the story in just a minute because I think that's really important, especially with the music video here. So that whole section, for example, I think was contained within less than an octave. It was a fairly narrow pitch range, probably more like a fifth. Very, very narrow. I could actually probably take that and put it on a piece of sheet music paper and dictate where all of those pitches were hitting most of the time being sustained. It's very, very impressive how he's able to do that. And I instantly identify it as rap, even though it's actually so close to singing. Super impressive. A little bit about the story here. I think one of the things that resonates with me and with a lot of people right now is that Rage Against the Machine is really standing against social injustice. And we have to be really careful with our channel. We're definitively not political on YouTube. But I can also identify that I think this is a very charged political time. People have very, very strong feelings. And we are not political because we don't want to disrespect. We are bringing people together for music. But that doesn't mean that we don't all have these feelings. We should address that and acknowledge that they're strong. And music like this, it speaks today, I think, in ways that even 10 years ago, it wasn't speaking the same. It feels like just so relevant. But this specific music video is talking about social injustice really within Native American communities. And it's talking about this wrongful incarceration, essentially, of Leonard Peltier. And it's just, it's heartbreaking when you think about moments like that. It doesn't matter where you're from. I think if you read about the case anymore, hopefully they'll expand on it more in the music video too. But when I read about it, it just is heartbreaking. You know, you feel just so sad for humans, or at least I feel sad. Other people have the reaction of getting very angry. And I think that Rage Against the Machine also taps into that very well. But for me, it just makes me sad, and it wants me to encourage people to treat each other better. So anyhow, I think Rage Against the Machine is so appealing today because they're tapping into this incredibly charged political time. Turn away in front of it, brother. Did you forget your name? Did you lose it on the wall? I love the way he used his dynamics there. Yo, check the diagonal. 3 brothers going, come on. Doesn't it make it 3 in a row? That rhythm was cool. Doesn't it make it 3 in a row? What was that the right lyrics? Yo, check the diagonal. 3 brothers going, come on. Doesn't it make it 3 in a row? That there's a use of triplets of gosh, a nice syncopation there too. Oh, it's cool. Come on. Doesn't it make it 3 in a row? Great rhythm. And the anticipation build there with no melodic content. Come on! Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, this is such an intense telling of the story, even more intense than just reading it. Um, I love the way that this has been paired. I don't know if they originally planned to pair with this video, because the lyrics, while they're alluding to this, I think that they're meant to be left a little bit more open so that it can apply to various situations. But this is an amazing pairing of the music video with the actual music. Right, that feels so creepy. Comes in the right first, then out the left. I love the spacing. Ugh. And when you see gun rounds going like that and you hear silence, I don't know about you, but for me, my stomach drops even more. It's just absolutely terrifying. Anger is a gift. Wow. Wow. Oh. I had so many strong feels during that section. I don't know about you, but for me, like, especially since I just read about the story, I feel like, again, sad inside, sad for this horrible bit of humanity. Yeah, I felt those like tears welling back behind my eyes where I was going, oh, I hate this. And then to come back to the groove almost feels, it's like almost like, yeah, we just go back to normal life despite all of this. It felt like somehow like cringy. This feels sad. I think that one of the things that's best about Rage Against the Machine is just continual riff after riff that is incredible, yet these shifting of grooves that somehow merge together well, and they just take us smoothly into the next riff that is also to die for. Gosh, I gotta say, Tom Morello, I feel so impressed by his guitar work out. I've been really digging into more and more guitarists and trying to understand more about this evolution of guitar, especially in rock music. And he just seems like a god when it comes down to it. He's one of those people I'd really love to talk to and just learn more about guitar and how he sees that evolution in history. It's amazing. I also like Zack's moments. They're so satisfying.
Yeah!
That was such a good ramp up guitar sound there too. That's like the lawnmower.
Yo, check the diagonal. 3 million gone, come on. Cause you know they're counting backwards to zero. Environment, the environment exceeding on the level of our unconsciousness. For example, what does the billboard say? Come and play, forget about the movement.
Man, Zack drives that message home so hard. So intense. I think that's probably one of the reasons, again, why Rage Against the Machine is appealing. I think the intensity is, it's sustainable. Just like pure shots of intensity can leave you feeling, there's a catharsis that happens. But when you have this with this intensity along with that groove that's laid back, it's like, okay, yeah, no, we can actually keep going with this. This is sustainable. What a wonderful combination of adrenaline and then soothing, yet adrenaline at the same time. I don't know. It still is perplexing to me. I'm trying to explain it, but I think it might actually be unexplainable. Let's go back just a little bit on this section. He did some really cool things there I want to talk about.
The environment exceeding on the level of our unconsciousness. For example, what does the billboard say? Come and play, forget about the movement.
Yeah. I love the way he's, again, using that unspecific pitch, but it's still really, it's repeated. It's like so on the verge of being a melody. But you hear these patterns in the tones that are repeated over and over or slightly adjusted and then developed. It's so fascinating to me. I need to get more into rap and understand the intricacies of it still. But I love the way that his is just so close to being a melody, yet he really capitalizes on using often more casual language. He'll often repeat words to drive in the extra emphasis, like come and play. And he leans so hard into punchy rhythms, again, to drive this all home. I don't know if I've ever heard, maybe Eminem, another rapper that drives things home in the same way. It feels like everything he says, especially when it's quiet, it almost, I feel like I'm being nicely punched. Weird description. Okay.
Yo, check the diagonal. 3 million gone, come on. Cause you know they're counting backwards to zero.
Do you hear those patterns?
The environment exceeding on the level of our unconsciousness. For example, what does the billboard say? Come and play, forget about the movement.
Wow, that was a great scream. Also, the setting of anger is a gift, and the way it's just quiet and so almost like nonchalantly spoken. It feels really, what's the word? It feels like nothing is put on. It's a beautiful delivery of it. It's not set up on any pedestal. It's just like, this is just the way it is. It's straightforward. There's another word I'm looking for that describes what that is. I can't find it right now. But I think that delivery is incredible. And here we go. Sincere. That's the word. It feels really sincere. I love that. Even though I don't get angry, like hardly at all. It's not an emotion I relate to a ton. But here, I relate to it. What a good scream.
Bring that shit in. Hey!
The rhythm in that section, bum ba da ba dum ba da ba bum 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 ba da ba dum ba da ba dum bum. It's catchy. I've only heard this once, and I can go back to that rhythm immediately. It's driving. It's catchy. You add to it some really just fantastically chosen pitches with it. This groove and the drive, everything about it, I really, really dig that. Wow. Ooh, I like the right versus left here. You got good headphones on, check it out with me.
Freedom. Yeah, right. Freedom.
Oh my gosh. Anybody else have chills right now? And tears behind their eyes? Oh wow. Such an emotional moment. The thing that really did it for me was when Zack said freedom, but with like a crack in his voice there. Gosh, that got me. That got me. It's often when we have imperfections in the voice because of an emotion just taking over that vocal control. It's like a little spasm that can actually happen in the vocal folds from that emotion overwhelming them. That can be one of the best things for delivering a message. It's hard to control though. Just the point is losing control and controlling that loss of control. Really, really tough. I think it has to come from inside. Wow. It's amazing how that high, tender voice from him. Wow. That. Oh my gosh. This is perfectly using harsh vocals, in my opinion. I think my favorite use of harsh vocals is when they're brought into a song as a flavor, though I feel fascinated when it's just pure harsh vocals in a song and different types of them. But when we take the emotion and continue to amp it up until we're at the point where the next logical step, which is funny, logic and emotion, but the next logical step is for just this total disintegration of sound. It's completely distorted, so full of emotion that it can no longer be carried in a melody. When sound falls apart, I feel that it can reach a different height of emotion. And that's where harsh vocals can step in and take the entire music up to the next level. This is fantastic. The kind of screaming he's doing, I don't know how exactly he's doing it, but just in case you haven't heard me talk about this before, this kind of screaming doesn't necessarily rip apart the vocal folds or the throat. You can do it in a sustained, healthy way. There's lots of research going on, including research that is funded by the Charismatic Voice and funded by many people in our community to help understand more how these kinds of screams can be done in a safe way. And I think it's important to also understand the emotional impact that this has, not just on you and me when we're listening to it, but also potentially on performers. This is, when we talk about music therapy and where it could go, the amount of emotion contained in a moment like this, that could have incredible benefits and uses beyond just music and singing. This is an incredible moment. Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. Wait, is those high-pitched sounds, are those coming from Tom Morello's guitar? Fascinating. That sounds like feedback that he's adding in there. That's awesome. Oh. Wow. I think this is my new favorite Rage Against the Machine song. It is, I still feel like I have tears behind my eyes and just this huge welling of emotion. That climactic ending and all of the way that the sound was falling apart was just so overwhelming and extraordinary. And the story that goes with it is, it just has this deep impact. I love music like this that can impact us and move us so much. And ultimately, the reason I keep coming back to Rage Against the Machine is because they move me. If you'd like to see some more analysis of music that moves me deeply, check out this playlist over here. May you fall more in love with music every day.